And I hope you don't let school and politics interfere with your education. I think in a 5 minutes, let's open it up, to the audience. Maybe we can take 2 or 3 questions. Can we get a couple of mics around? Yeah, anyone who's raised their hand? BCom to students at Tireka, maybe their colleagues. Amit probably has guessed. Absolutely.
Or I don't think I but
No, for the recording, you will. So, yeah.
So I think what you guys say very resonates very well, especially the last part. So it's around where top performing our own opinions. I need to know from you, and what state of life, because schools don't teach that, colleges don't teach that. I think that's the major problem where, the foundation should be we value your opinion to an extent, the core or we try and letter it. So I think, in everyone's life, we all be experienced. At what stage did you guys realize that your opinion matters and you have to stick with it rather than just go with the flow and just be heard, one power for?
so I actually learned it from my daughter. And let me give an example, right? My daughter is a very poor eater, right? So at some point, you wondering what is it that you could do to make a child eat? So, you try thread, you try everything, whatever. So one day we decided an experiment. We said, when she comes back from school, let us not also pick any food. Let us just give her the days. And this was when she was in class 5, so she was about 10 years old. So she came back from school at about 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. And you said, we are not going to eat, and let's see how long, because at some stage she will give up, right? Cut to Saturday evening at 4 p.m., which was 26 hours later, and he gave up. Because she had the same level of energy, she was learning ballet, she ran up, she did everything, etc., etc., etc. And she didn't once say that I want food to eat. So it taught to me, at least I learned that this is all wisdom in hindsight. This is a great conversation to have, but it's those 26 hours are terrifying, right? But the one thing it taught me is that if there is something that's important to an individual, look at it from their point of view, right? Challenging convention, right, is not for the sake of doing it. You don't have to be a martyr analysis and like you say, right, war is not about who's right. War is about who's left, right? So you got to pick and choose your matters. But I think when people have conviction for doing what they believe is right, even if it is outside of norm in terms of what, the way people think, I think we should respect that. And that is true diversity, because that is diversity of thought, right? To say that I can survive 26 hours without eating anything punch and still have the same level of energy, who are we to keep saying that, you got to keep, shutting food into your body? And of course, then it helps that all the food consumed in the house is available to you. So I'm not complaining the background.
Parkas?
Hi, Amit. Very insightful things you've shared. In fact, as I said with your last one, where you talked about your child not carrying food on. And I experimented this with my son around 15 years ago and probably with you. So the question we done in my is, why some people or organizations have this social that miley or highway?
Well, I think I'm reflecting back on a couple of points that I've heard. I think because organizations have a tried and tested model which have worked, and that is what constitutes my way. Therefore, there is a risk in trying out the unknown, but there's not enough of balance in taking the risk and allowing you a safe mistake to be made.
So do you think it is inflicting a lot of conflict in the young people's mind that they don't want to follow that Myra everything and they want to contribute in their own way? And that is where sometimes conflict happens and eventually things taking force of fall. And we have seen this happening in last 10 years in various aspects. Even things like paper, they were reached to ladder and it got it text. So Muri is important.
At an individual level, I think that for people towards the career side of the rule, as I said, as we said, be rebellious, do the different thing, challenge the status quo. Yes, of course, there is resistance in that process, and it's for us to choose in that moment what we want to do next. You can give up, or you can say that, well, I'll fall in, I'll conform, I'll do what is expected of me, and there are safety words for that. But the path to learning and growing as an individual, which is what I think the path should be, lies and continue to find the way forward. And the role of leadership, the other part of it is the role of leadership, which is to create the environment in which that attitude can thrive and grow.
Yeah, because earlier today I was having a conversation with my Lebanese partner, and we were talking about that nowadays. I think the better issues required for the people who are 45 and above. That how do you should make the young generation, rather than young nation that make as the same with people who are having the same mindset in their minds that will be this way. So they should be mentoring. There should be mentoring programs for people who are 45 and above, or probably the higher management. That how you should be taking care of the young guys who are joining the force, because they're not coming with the same situation of World War I, World War II, or any other thing. They're a totally different world. So the realities are different. Their memory is away from that. So we have to take this very accommodate those people.
One of the best examples I can think of is an HR director in one of the companies where I worked, who at the age of 58 took for himself a mentor who was 24 years old. Awesome. And said, tell me how to work with you. Ask me how to work with your generation. So just adding on to your point, and mentorship is important, but it could be a problem for a 50-year-old when you are 70-year-old and ask for mentorship.
Of course not. So the age is a no factor, I should say. It should be a, or skin to buy in. That's what is important, the today's generation. So otherwise, what will happen, always somebody is teaching something just 2 decades old or 3 decades old. So this is what we want to sum up that. Thank you so much.
Thanks to I'm gonna let Amit have the last word.
I think, look, I always like to say that in God we trust, but for everything that shows the data, right? So if you look at organizations that were in, let's say, the Fortune 500 list, or even any country's top 100 list 20 years ago, basically what we have today, at least has changed dramatically. It is organizations, the ones that survive are the ones that innovate. And innovation, by definition, is counterintuitive to my idea or RA. So if you look at organizations you are history that have survived, thrived, done that, they are the ones who have constantly thought ahead, who have constantly changed path, and by definition that is not possible if you use the concept of my way versus other highway. The other is a lot of people who get into these my way versus highway conversations get disillusioned, move out, and that is actually the origin of startups. So I always say that organizations that have my way or idea are actually very good, because they are the ones who give us startups, entrepreneurs, and when entrepreneurs then start businesses, they say, I'm very clear about, I may not know what I want to do, but I'm very clear about what I will not do, and that is my idea.
I think that brings us to the end of this great marketplace session. Let's have a round of applause. And I'm hoping that we have a couple of discussions now. Please do wait till the end. And while we're having a couple of refreshments, let's pick their brains a little more. Thank you so much, gentlemen.